Hello and welcome to the Bourbon and College Podcast. I'm your host, Austin. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. As you just heard, I'm Austin. So today we're going to talk about aging. What is aging? Why is it important? What is aging versus what is finishing? And we're going to review another High West product today, the Double Rye. I know we've been doing a lot of High West recently, but I just got this bottle. It's my newest bottle. I haven't even cracked it yet, so first crack's going to be with y'all. And then finally, we're going to have Shout Out Corner here, and we're going to talk about an Instagram comment or two and just see what I can do better. All right, without further ado, let's get started. So, first off, what is aging in the realm of whiskey and bourbon especially? So, aging is putting the newly distilled product, at least in the whiskey world, in a barrel. In the bourbon world, a new charred oak barrel. Or in Scotch or other places, it could be a used barrel. It could be different things. But we're going to specifically talk about bourbon today. So a new charred oak barrel. Now, to be legally considered bourbon in the U.S., there is no time on how long it has to be in that barrel. You could literally let it run through the barrel, and it can be in there for 5 seconds, and it can be considered bourbon. Now, to be considered straight bourbon, has to be in there at least 2 years, and it has to have an age statement, or at least 4 years without an age statement. I'm not going to get into all those rules, but let's just say you don't have to, quote-unquote, age it for it to be bourbon. It just has to touch the barrel. Aging is the actual process of letting the whiskey sit in the barrel over a period of time, whether it's a few months, a few years, to be actually aging. Now, people talk about, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Aging, you gotta be careful with aging. People say you can age a bourbon faster in smaller barrels. And that's not really true. Now, yes, you'll get a lot of things in the small barrels quicker than you would in the big barrels. Like a deeper oakiness, maybe a deeper color. A lot of things that it takes a lot of time to get in the big barrels, but it's not really aging. A 2-year-old whiskey is going to be a 2-year-old whiskey, whether it's in a big barrel or even a 1 liter barrel or any barrel size in between. It may have more oaky flavor, it may have more wood notes, more vanillins in the smaller barrel than in the larger barrel, but it's still only 2 years old. There's something you can't replace with being a small barrel. That's also like with people who use oak chips or those oak spirals to age, quote-unquote, age whiskey quicker. You do get a lot of good flavors. Don't get me wrong. It's good, and a lot of people really like that. I don't want you to stop that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not aging quicker. There's something you can't replace that comes from time. Just the melding of the flavors together. That you can't speed it up or replace it. There's even some enzymes that supposedly, quote-unquote, age a whiskey faster, but even those aren't the same as time. Time is irreplaceable when it comes to creating quality in a whiskey. Now, maybe you're looking for a younger flavor. That is fine, and a lot of those are really good. You want the oakiness, but you don't necessarily you want the age or care about the age of it. Then, yeah, go ahead and throw it in a smaller barrel and get all those flavors. That's fine. Some people age their bourbon in a smaller barrel. I know Balcones is famous for using smaller barrels. That's fine. They have, like you've seen it on the show, they have delicious stuff. I'm not yucking any of these smaller barrels. I'm just saying it's not necessarily aging. It's still aging in those barrels, but it's not aging. You're not aging faster just because you're in a smaller barrel. That being said, aging versus finishing. Finishing is when you put an already aged bourbon into a different barrel. Now, in terms of bourbon, in a legal definition, it only ages in its original barrel as long as you have it in there. For like a port finished, like Angel's Envy, it's a however long year old bourbon that they put in a port barrel. Even if you had it in there in the port barrel for 5 years, it may be doing things to the whiskey that comes with age, but legally it's not aged any longer. So if you, for example, say I aged a whiskey for 3 years in a new charred oak barrel. It's a bourbon, right? It's not, well, as long as I have the right mash bill and yada yada. It's a bourbon. It's a straight bourbon if it's over 4 years. But then I put it in a port barrel or a Scotch barrel or rum barrel for 10 years. And that barrel, I mean, the only thing about that barrel is it held something else, but it's still charred. It's still the same kind of barrel that the bourbon was in before, other than it held something else beforehand. Legally in the U.S., it's still only a 5-year-old bourbon that's been finished in rum casks, even though it's 15 years in the aging process. Does that make sense? It's kind of funky that way. But finishing is not considered aging. Finishing does some delicious things, like even a double oaked. Even if you put the whiskey from one charred oak barrel to another, it's still finishing it. Now, I don't know if that changes how you put the age. I'm not sure exactly on the age versus finishing laws. But I do know on the label, if you put it in something other than a new charred oak barrel, even after it's been in a new charred oak barrel, it is now a bourbon finished in blank. Fill in the blank there. It has to be labeled as that. It can't just be labeled as a bourbon. Now, some people argue, is it a bourbon or is it not a bourbon anymore? That's up to debate. But the label says a bourbon finished in blank. So, that's the quick and dirty about aging and finishing and what's the difference and can you speed up aging. If you have any more questions, there's some great articles out there. I recommend you go check it out. Ask me a question. Maybe I can go do some more research for you on it. Sorry. But yeah, so that's all I got about that. I'm gonna go into this whiskey review now. This High West Double Rye. While I get this opened up, consider going check out my Instagram at bourbon_n_college. That's where I do my main communicating. That and my YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got great videos. I post every podcast on the YouTube channel, so you might be listening to it from there now. But I also do 2 videos a week. I do a bourbon-related video or a rye-related video, and I do a Scotch Saturday. So every Saturday I post a video reviewing some Scotch or talking about a Scotch-related topic. Just kind of broaden the base. So consider checking that out. All right, now let's get to the rye review. So y'all, I just recorded for like 10 minutes on this review without my mic being turned on, and I'm mad. So we're going to try this again. What I was saying was this is the first time I cracked it. I have now had it because of my stupidity. But I'll do the pop for you again. It makes a good pop. I like that. All right. From the beginning, it is High West Double Rye at 46% ABV. On the bottle, it just says a blend of 2 straight rye whiskeys. But on the website, you learn that the 2 rye whiskeys are an MGP rye that is 95% rye and 5% barley malt, and High West's own distillate at 80% rye and 20% malted rye. So that's interesting. Now they don't tell you the proportions they're blended in, but High West is very good about telling you what's in their blends. So that's that. It's aged in new charred oak barrels like a bourbon would be. And I'm just gonna go through this a little bit quickly because I drank most of it already. On the nose, it's very mentholy, like a Vicks Vapor Rub, eucalyptus maybe. I get a little bit of cinnamon and your pumpkin pie spices on the nose. Not pumpkin, but the spices. Nutmeg, cinnamon, all that. On the taste, instantly it makes me think of a mint julep. I get a lot of mint, get a lot of cinnamon sweetness, almost like a bourbon. And then that rye spice comes in there to finish it off. It's almost like, it's what I imagine a rye mint julep to taste like, honestly. Like a rye that's closer to a bourbon. Mm. There's definitely some a little bit of that burnt plastic note that I'm got on Balcones, but it's very slight and it's at the beginning, so I'm not too worried about that. Plus, I love Balcones anyway, even with that note. It's good. It's really good. I'm liking ryes more and more now. It doesn't have any of that dill note that I get on ryes that I absolutely despise. It's delicious. What can I say? For the price, I mean, it's like it was $32 when I bought it, and that might even be a little overpriced. It's worth it. It's definitely a keep for me. Definitely check that out for sure. All right, today I'm going to read an Instagram comment. Let me pull that back up because I thought I read it already and closed out everything. So I asked for opinions on my last Instagram post, what you thought about the Long Branch from Wild Turkey. I got some good, a lot of good responses. I love these opinions. Everyone has a nice little opinion on it. It's controversial. It's controversial whiskey. I love hearing from y'all. At ATX Bourbon says good stuff, but wish it was a little higher proof. Hard to pick it over the rare breed at a similar price point, which makes sense. I've never had rare breed myself because everywhere I find it, it's higher price, but I definitely want to try it. Canadian Whiskey Smith says it's controversial? ? I tried it a couple times and quite liked it. I typically prefer higher proof, but thought this one stood up all right at 43%. Picked up a bottle a while back, but haven't cracked it yet. Telos Monos said, at my age, on my budget, it's just right, and I agree. Bourbon and Bike said it has some good flavors, and it's great for those lower proof nights. I totally agree. The Bourbon and Rye Club says surprisingly good for the proof. The Mesquite adds complexity that enables it to punch above its weight in proof. We're fans for sure, and I agree. It is low proof. One more. Let me read one more. Whiskey and Weight says I really enjoy it. Classic notes on the mesquite are great. Classic notes with that mesquite are a great combo. Anything endorsed by a celebrity is going to be hated on, but this is a nice expression. I agree, and I think that's a lot of If you haven't heard, Matthew McConaughey is the spokesperson and quote unquote helped develop this bourbon. Excuse me. So that could be part of the reason it's hated on. I don't know. It's good. It's definitely unique, and for the price point, it's unique enough and in a good way that it stands out. I think it's worth it. I'll do a full review on it later, but it's good. I really enjoy it. All right, y'all. So that's it for this episode today. Appreciate y'all listening. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me, comment, leave a review, any of that. I'm here on all my social media. I keep it up to date. I keep it on me all day. I'll respond within a day, hopefully. Let me know if you have any good ideas for the show. Hit me up. My email is bourbonin2020. It's all one word, BOURBONIN, the number 2020 at yahoo.com. So hit me up there or on Instagram or Facebook. See y'all next time. Bye. Thanks for being here, guys. If you want to keep the conversation going, go find me on Instagram at bourbon_in_college. There's the Bourbon in College Facebook page. I'm on Twitter at inbourbon. If you want to hear more episodes, go find me on my website at www.bourbonincollege.com or subscribe to me on your favorite podcasting app, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, whichever you use. You can even go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bourbon in College. All the podcasts are there, as well as some extra videos about some different topics, maybe some shorter topics, and I review a scotch every Saturday. Again, thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you next time.